We've got a bonus for you today. Unlike the mainstream media, we like to do honest analysis. Political commentator Larry Sharpe joins us now for his take. Larry Sharpe, thank you so much for joining us and being back with us today. We appreciate your time.
Always happy to be here, Maria. Always happy.
Yeah, we're great. We're grateful for you. Well, this has been a very, very interesting week. I have a lot of critiques to issue about the ABC and their pathetic fact-checking methods. Very, very biased, clearly towards Kamala. But there is also some criticism towards Trump that he could have done better.
Sure.
And so I'd love to hear your analysis on how that went.
Well, I want to always try to give credit where credit is due. And I also want us to always know where we are so we know how to move forward, right? As a Marine, you got to know where you are first before you know where you can get to the next place, right? So you got to accept your circumstances. And the credit I want to give is to Harris's team. Harris's team took all the time and energy. I mean, she doesn't have a job anymore. So she basically just took the last couple of weeks and she was sitting in a bunker learning those things. And she's a prosecutor. That's what she does. She knows how to present things to a jury. And that's what she did. They gave her the 2-minute clips and she had them all. The first question they asked her, she didn't answer. She gave her opening statement. And to be forward, I'm a political consultant too. And when I talk to candidates, I tell them the same thing. If they don't give you an opening statement, don't answer the first question, just do your opening statement. I do the same coaching. So I know that's what they did. And that's why she didn't do it. And I think they knew it too, to your point about ABC. They knew if the first question's hard, which was a hard question. The first question was, right? Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? That was a hard question. But they also knew the same thing that I knew. You asked a hard question up front, so it looks like you're not biased, knowing that she won't answer it because she's just going to give an opening statement. And that's exactly what happened. Now, here's the bad part. Trump's team did not prepare him at all. The exact opposite was true. When Trump didn't give an opening statement, he responded to hers. That was the mistake Trump made, and he got caught in defensive from the entire piece. His team failed him. Lindsey Graham even said it. I mean, I don't always agree with Lindsey Graham, but in this one, he's right. He said his team should be fired. So even he said so. I think that's the thing we want to be very clear about. Trump's team failed him. Harris's team supported her perfectly. That's true.
Do you think part of the problem, Larry, is that perhaps Trump went into this with integrity, which, you know, I could attribute to him, and, you know, miscalculated that Kamala wouldn't?
Yes, and it was, to be forward again, I mentioned this a while ago. Harris only did one debate. One interview, and she brought her dad. I'm teasing, Waltz. She brought Waltz with her, right? To do one debate so that she didn't look too powerful. She looked weak, and I could see that. Obviously, Trump's team went, "Oh, this is a joke. Don't worry about it. Trump, you've been doing these rallies. You've been in front of people. This is your 7th debate. You'll be fine." And I'm sure he thought the same thing. I'll be fine. I'm up against someone who doesn't know what she's doing. I've been doing this. And yes, I think to your point, there probably was some hubris, both on a part of Trump and on the part of Trump's team. And usually, if you're just open and honest, and I take this back from 2016, Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate, he said, "I don't really practice much because I don't lie, so I just tell the truth and I should be okay." Well, as much as I love that idea by Gary Johnson, he didn't win either. So that doesn't always work, particularly when you're up against a Democratic machine. And to be forward, it's a machine.
Yes.
It is literally a machine. She was put into place. She was anointed because the deep state said she should be anointed, because permanent Washington chose her. It is a machine. And again, I'm not trying to take away Trump's responsibility, but I want to be clear. He has a team that's supposed to fix this. I'm on teams like this. I would have prepared him for this. Was it 3-1? Yes, it was, no doubt. Again, though, the team should have known that and be like, "Hey, boss, it's 3-1. Let's have some tactics for this. We're about to walk into an ambush." So I know I'm beating up his team, but I think they deserve being beaten up.
Yeah, I think it's a fair critique. I think from what I saw, he was trying to be as open and upfront as possible.
Yep.
And, you know, even when they were discussing what was going on in Springfield, and the ABC fact checkers, you know, challenged him that the city manager has said that this is not occurring. "Oh, well, of course the city manager would say that." He responds. You know, I'm seeing him approaching this like he's talking to honest people, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yes. Now, there may be an advantage in the long run to this. Maybe. I'm looking at this now because some of those facts that they checked well, actually were facts, that they said weren't facts. And I think that's starting to come out in mainstream media, starting to come out in social media. You're seeing that as true. And the problem now you have is mainstream media may be actually helping Trump more than like they did in 2016. In 2016, mainstream media gave Trump so much extra media. I mean, it helped them tremendously. They may start doing it again. Why? They don't know any better. It's when all you have is a hammer, everything's a nail. So they may just start trying to hammer him again, right? They may, and that may actually help him because more people, this, I guess where I want to go with this election is going to be won on the margins. It's going to be a close election either way, right? Win, lose, or draw, it's going to be close. Those few people who are like, is this cat thing real? What? If those people check it out and go, oh, wait a minute, this fact checker isn't really checking facts, huh? Those people, if it's just 100,000, that could turn the election. So there's a chance this could actually wind up being good, even though initially it did look bad.
Yes, I think you're right. And I think what people have gotten used to, and this is certainly what I'm seeing online and from people that I speak to, as soon as they hear something out of the mainstream media, like, for example, what they heard out of the ABC last night, they're immediately going to fact check the ABC because they know not to trust the mainstream media anymore. They've completely lost all credibility. And so what happens is that the things that they try to cover up actually become, that they work against them. Like you're saying, it ends up backfiring.
Yes.
More people end up learning the truth. So it's just incredible to see how this is all played out. I want to ask your opinion about this. Kash Patel recently delivered some comments that he thinks that Kamala may be installed as president before the 2024 election. What are your thoughts on that?
I think if it's done, it's brilliant. Again, not that I want it to happen, but I'm trying to be neutral on this. Once you make someone an incumbent, you give them an advantage. It's just how people think, right? Oh, now she's there, so therefore she's more valid. And once again, this election is going to be won on the margins. If they start thinking that this debate backfired and those imaginary 100,000 people I just made up, if those people start going, wait a minute, maybe I should vote for Trump. And then they throw Harris up there, that could take another 100,000 to go, wait a minute, she kind of is president. Maybe I should keep it. So you do start on the margins. You start working for inches. So I do think there is a chance that could be done. It's not pretty. And people would be mad at it. But sadly, most of the people who would be angry at it are already voting for Trump, right? You're not gaining people with that. The disadvantage might be, this is the second part that people aren't really talking about. This election is not being run. I should say these campaigns aren't being run on trying to convince Republicans to vote Democrat or Democrats to vote Republican. That's not the key. They're trying to increase turnout more than anything. There's give or take about 50 million Democrats registered in the country and about 40 million Republicans registered in the country. So if Democrats get 80, 90% turnout, they're going to win this thing, particularly if Republicans only get 60, 70% turnout. So heavy turnout is a key aspect to this race also. So they want lots of turnout and then people on the margins, which is why you hear Harris say things like, I'm not going to take the guns. She says stuff like that, hoping that gun owners who aren't too far right might go, oh, okay, I was scared of that. Maybe it's okay. That's the piece. The second part is Democratic Party has an advantage. And the advantage is that in the past, they were nowhere near as bad as they are now. And Bobby Kennedy Jr. is a perfect example of that, right? If you look at the Democratic Party from the 70s as an example, I'm old enough to remember that. They were the party of, love who you want to love and no war and, all the man is censoring you. They were absolutely the opposite of the censorious people they are now.
Right.
Now, the opposite is true. They are the most censorious. They are the most anti-gun. They are the most anti-freedom. They've changed. And this is why people like RFK Jr. and even Nicole Shanahan have become so angry.
Yes.
Because that's not the party that I remember. Like, that was what happened. And they're so upset. Now, a lot of older people vote in America, across the world. But in America, if you're over 60, you vote. Some of those people still have in their heads that when I was 18, 20, the Democratic Party was different. Some of them still have that in their heads. If Harris and her team can get those people to buy it, some of them will come back home. Now, it'll be a small amount, but again, they're focusing on the margins.
some people have delivered criticism of Trump for some of his recent comments on things like abortion or marijuana. Do you think that that's actually doing damage to the turnout of the Republican base because they are actually, a lot of the time, staunch conservatives are against these things?
I think he's doing exactly the same thing Harris is doing in this regard, which is trying to make sure that people who are on the margins don't run away, right? The biggest thing you're going to find Democrats do, and you saw it, and Harris was good at this. She talked about abortion as if you're pro-life, you're anti-woman. Now, again, I don't believe it to be true at all, but that emotion is what she's trying to pull out. So what is Trump trying to do? Hey, I'm not that. This emotion is wrong. It's not true. It's not true. So I think he's trying to counter that emotional play that, see, if you're pro-life, you're anti-woman. And again, that's factually not true, but it does feel right. And Harris is all about vibes.
Yes.
She's about feeling. She's not about substance. She's not about policy. She's about vibes. She's leaning into that. Now, this is the issue with Trump. Most politicians are able to either project strength and or empathy well. Joe Biden from 10 years ago. He's old now. 10 years ago, Joe Biden.
He was old then too.
That's true. But he was better at projecting empathy, right? He was better at it. Clinton was amazing at, I feel your pain. He was so good at projecting empathy. Trump is amazing at projecting strength.
Yes.
Not great at empathy. So he has to try these things to do the combo to also project empathy. The RNC did it very good with him. If you remember how they put his kids around him during the RNC convention, his grandkids. Oh, amazing. Now you have a strong person projecting empathy. So good. That's amazing, right? So they're trying to get him to project empathy, and it makes sense to be forward.
And finally, you mentioned before about Trump going on the defensive about a lot of these false claims that are being made against him, and they're just false. I have absolutely no problem delivering criticism about Trump personally, although I generally support him, but a lot of these claims from Kamala are absolutely false.
Yep.
And so he's been on the defensive a lot of the time. Do you think that that's definitely, a campaign strategy and it's the right one? Or do you think that he really needs to go more on the offensive? I noticed his campaign put out a very powerful video just yesterday that was really showing the different, all the various lies that Kamala has told her base. It was a good video.
My view, and I think it's the simplest view, and I think it's something that he should have done in 2020 more also. In 2020, my view, and he did not do this, but my view is your entire campaign is promises made, promises kept. That was what I thought he should have done in 2020. He did not do that the way I thought he should have. This one, I think he should focus on only one thing. Are you better off than you were 4 to 6 years ago? That should be everything. So Harris goes, and you've said this thing, and you go, great. My question is, are you better off 4 to 6 years ago than you were today? But what about this thing? And you hate women or whatever thing. She goes, yeah, okay, great. I hate women. Awesome. Are you better off 4 years ago, 6 years ago than you are today? That I would hammer that home because the vast majority of Americans would say, no, I'm not. And the second piece, which he did not do, he has created a team of rivals that is a good unity team and ticket. And he did not at all expand that. Now, again, I'll give Harris credit. Harris should be getting her butt kicked, but she's not. Why? Because her team has done something very good, which is they have shown how they put together a team of celebrities, right? Celebrities is all about vibes and feeling, and there's lots of them. Taylor Swift and the like. See, all the cool kids like my person. They've been very good at that, which is nice. Trump has something too very good, which he has not done well at putting together, which is he's got Tulsi Gabbard. He's got RFK Jr. He's got Elon Musk. He's got Vivek Ramaswamy. He has his own team of people with really ideas and policies, not just vibes. Yeah. And his team has not done a good job of putting that. The idea of MAHA, as you've heard before, make America healthy again, doesn't say it, doesn't move it. If he really wants to bring this unity ticket together, he's got to start saying that, doing that, and putting those people out with him, right? Because, again, Bobby Kennedy Jr. projects empathy amazingly well.
He does.
Well, then use that.
So does Tulsi. They're
Tulsi
incredible
too.
at it. Yeah.
Yes. She's all about my brothers and sisters in arms. She wants to stop the wars. Put them out there. I think that is where Harris's team has done well with their vibes and celebrities. Now Trump's got to counter that with his team of rivals, people who they're former Democrats, and now they've come to him. I think that's the key.
Absolutely fantastic analysis, Larry. Always love hearing from you. And I have to agree with pretty much everything you've said. Where can people follow you and find your work?
Absolutely. You can go to av24.org to see American Values 2024, which is the PAC that supports Robert Kennedy Jr. And you can check me out at Larry Sharpe on all the things. Larry Sharpe Twitter, Larry Sharpe Facebook, Larry Sharpe YouTube. I'm at Larry Sharpe. I'm the most famous Larry Sharpe in America. See that? Awesome.
Well, thank you again for your time, Larry. I'm sure we'll be speaking again as this race just gets crazier.
Yes.
Have a great day.